My daughter gave up custody of her baby, so we raised him as our own. 25 years later, she came back trying to extort us. When my daughter Mildred turned 18, she gave me a gift. It was a pregnancy test with 2 pink lines. I took a deep breath. She had always been irresponsible, the kind of person who never thought about consequences. And before I could say anything, she started yelling, "And don't even think about coming at me with that abortion talk, because I'm not doing it. So you'd better start getting ready." For context, when she said you, she meant me and her father. And when she said getting ready, she meant that we were supposed to dedicate our lives to raising her child. Well, my husband and I have always loved babies and always wanted more children, so we agreed right away. Shortly after, Mildred practically shoved the papers in our faces. She made sure to sign documents giving up all parental rights because she didn't want any responsibility if we ever faced financial difficulties, as if she had any money to help in the first place. Anyway, Philip grew up to be a wonderful son. He was curious, kind, never asked for anything without saying please, and always offered to help my husband with work. My husband was an accountant, so there wasn't much he could actually help with, but the gesture alone melted our hearts. When he turned 10, he started asking about his biological mother, our daughter. It was clear he wanted to build a connection with her. Every Mother's Day, he wrote 2 cards and kept them in a box under his bed, along with a stack of envelopes labeled Mom. When he was 11, he tried to contact her more than 12 times, asking to see her. My husband and I always tried to distract him, reminding him that we loved him as a real son. But it was only on the 13th attempt, after yet another rejection from Mildred, that he finally gave up and began focusing on his own life. I did everything I could to make him feel loved and welcomed. My husband and I spent all our savings so he could attend college without having to work. We made sure he traveled at least once a year, always accompanied by one of us. By the time he was 22, it seemed like he barely remembered his biological mother anymore. She still spoke to us, but never asked about him or tried to build a mother-son relationship. And honestly, I was grateful for that, because by then I loved Philip far more than I had ever loved Mildred. On top of that, she had deliberately cut us out of her life. She blocked us on all social media, even WhatsApp. The only thing we knew was that she had remarried on the other side of the country, and frankly, I hoped she stayed there. My son eventually dropped out of college to open a car wash business with some friends. His marketing skills were so good that the business took off quickly. He always gave 15% of the profits to his father and me as a way of thanking us for everything we had done. But there was something that bothered me. He was obsessed with the idea of paying us back for everything we had lost, raising him. That made me feel terrible, because I never wanted him to feel that way. Raising him was the best chapter of my life, far better than anything else I could have done. A year later, he met the love of his life, Amber, a wonderful young woman. But I had no idea his life was about to be turned upside down. During Thanksgiving dinner, while we were all sitting at the table, his phone rang. I thought it was a new client and felt proud. He answered on speaker, but as soon as I heard the voice, my heart froze. It was Mildred. She asked how he was, and he answered politely but coldly. That's when I realized he truly no longer loved her. She asked to meet at a restaurant, and he said he would think about it. "Son, your father and I can go with you if you want," I offered, seeing his serious expression. "That would be great," he replied, instantly brightening the mood. But I already knew it wouldn't end well. 25 years without trying to build any bond, and I knew her all too well. On the day of the meeting, we went to the most elegant restaurant in town. She didn't hug her son or ask how he was. The first thing she said was, "What's the spending limit today?" My son shrugged. "Doesn't matter." She ordered lobster ravioli and a bottle of white wine. When she saw the wallpaper on his phone, she jumped in. "She's pretty. Is she your girlfriend?" The tone was so forced that the table fell silent. Then she added, "She looks like me and my ex-husband. We were so cute together, weren't we?" I asked what had happened, and she said she had cheated on him. My son rolled his eyes. "It happens, right?" Then she got straight to the point. "I'm having trouble finding a job. Could you help me?" "I think so." "Great. I'm going to need about 14,000 reais to secure an apartment. I'll send you my bank details. Transfer it before the weekend, okay?" I thought Philip was going to explode, but he just nodded. I wanted to tell her off, but I felt a pinch under the table. It was my son. I stayed quiet. I had no idea my sweet boy had an ace up his sleeve. When we got home, I was furious, pacing back and forth while Larry made tea to calm me down. Philip was calm, on his phone. "I don't understand how you can be so calm," I said. "That woman abandoned you and now comes back asking for money." Philip smiled. "Mom, relax. I've got this." He showed me his phone. He was making a transfer. The amount? Exactly 14 reais. 14 reais? She asked for money. She didn't say how much. Larry burst out laughing. So did I. All my anger disappeared. The next day, his phone exploded with messages. "Where's the rest of the money? This isn't funny. I need it by tomorrow." Philip replied, "Sorry, the budget is tight this month. Hope the 14 helps." The calls started around noon. He ignored all of them. By the end of the day, there were 17 missed calls. We listened to the voice messages, each one angrier than the last. "Should we call the police?" I asked. "Let her talk," he he replied. 3 days later, she showed up at his company making a scene. She was shouting in front of customers, "You owe me. I'm your mother." Philip, calm as ever, asked her to leave. She threatened to record him and post the video. She did. She edited it to make him look like a villain. The comments were brutal. Philip responded with a video, telling the whole truth and showing evidence. People supported him massively. Then she tried to report him for fraud. The case was immediately closed. Finally, she showed up at our house, broken, crying. She tried to manipulate Larry. "He has money," she said. "For him, it's nothing." "Philip doesn't owe you anything," I replied firmly. "He is our son." She insisted. Larry hesitated. "Maybe we could help a little." I couldn't believe it. "Larry, no. She's manipulating you." "She's still our daughter, Margaret," he said, using my full name. And I knew the problem wasn't over yet. And Philip? What message did that send to him? Mildred saw the opening and dove right in. "Philip doesn't have to know. It can just be between us. Family helping family." I was about to keep arguing when we heard the front door open. Philip had arrived earlier. He stopped short when he saw Mildred sitting at the kitchen table. His face became completely neutral, the same expression he'd had at the restaurant. "What's going on here?" he asked quietly. "Your mother came to apologize," Larry replied quickly. She nodded enthusiastically. "Yes, I feel terrible about everything. I wish I could start over." Philip looked at me. I couldn't hide my distrust, and he noticed it immediately. "Is that why you're here?" he asked Mildred. She nodded again, eyes wide, putting on an innocent face. "Of course. What other reason would I have to try to get money from my parents, since I couldn't get it from you?" Philip shot back. Her face changed so fast it looked like a movie scene. The tears vanished, replaced by a cold stare. "And what did you expect? You live in luxury while I'm struggling. Someone in this family has to help." Philip just shook his head. "I think it's best if you leave now." "I'm not leaving without what I came for," she replied. "And exactly what did you come for, Mildred?" he asked in a calm voice, dangerously calm. She looked at Larry. "Dad, you were going to help me, right? Tell him." Larry looked uncomfortable. "I only said that maybe we could help a little." Philip's face fell apart. I saw it in his eyes. Pain, disappointment. It broke my heart. "Dad, she's using you," Philip said softly, "just like she tried to use me." Larry looked torn. I put my hand on his arm. "Listen to Philip, Larry. He's right." Mildred stood up abruptly. The chair screeched against the floor. "Fine, if that's how it is. All of you. I'll manage on my own, like I always have." She stormed out, slamming the door. The silence that followed was deafening. Philip wouldn't look at his father. Larry stared at the floor, his face full of guilt. "I'm sorry, son," he finally said. "I don't know what came over me. She always had that power over you," Philip replied without emotion. After everything, he turned around and left the kitchen. Minutes later, we heard his car drive away. He didn't come back that night. The days that followed were tense. Philip kept his distance, focused on containing the damage to the company. The video Mildred had posted caused some problems, even after his response. Some negative online reviews appeared, clearly fake, but damaging nonetheless. Larry blamed himself for almost falling into his daughter's trap. I tried to comfort him, but to be honest, I was disappointed too. After all, he should already know who she is. Philip finally showed up for dinner about a week later. He seemed distracted, checking his phone constantly. "Everything okay?" I asked as we cleared the plates. "Yeah, I'm just waiting for a call," he replied vaguely. The call came at dessert. Philip stood up to take it in the living room. When he returned, he had that sly little smile again. "It was Amber," he said. "Everything's set for tomorrow night." "What's happening tomorrow night?" Larry asked. "I invited Mildred to dinner." A gesture of peace. I nearly dropped my fork. "You did what? After everything she did?" He nodded. "I think it's time to settle this once and for all. I want you both to come too." "Philip, I don't think that's a good idea," I started to say. "Please, Mom, trust me." There was something in his eyes that made me believe him. So, against my instincts, I agreed. Larry agreed too, though he looked just as uneasy as I was. The restaurant Philip chose was even more sophisticated than the previous one. Dinner for 4 there would easily exceed 2,000 reais. When we arrived, Mildred was already there, looking much better than when she came to our house. Straightened hair, new dress, freshly done nails. So ruined, yet so put together, I thought. Philip greeted her with a hug, which surprised me. She seemed surprised too, but quickly slipped into the role of a loving mother reunited with her son.
"I'm so glad you called," she said cheerfully. "I felt awful about everything that happened. Water under the bridge," Philip replied with a calm smile. "Let's enjoy dinner, shall we?" The meal began in a pleasant atmosphere. Philip asked about her life as if he truly cared. She basked in the attention, talking non-stop about herself. I noticed Philip kept her wine glass constantly full. By the time the main course arrived, she was already on her 4th glass and quite loose.
"So, Mildred," Philip said casually, "tell me more about that apartment you want so badly." She began describing in great detail a luxury condominium with an ocean view. "It's absolutely perfect," she sighed. "But the down payment is insanely expensive." And you don't have any savings? Nothing from the marriage or previous jobs? He asked. She waved a hand dismissively. I was never good with money, and Richard, my ex, is being a pain about the divorce settlement. That must be hard, Philip said empathetically. And if you don't get the money from the family, what's the plan? She took another long sip of wine. I always manage. Always. She leaned forward conspiratorially. But just between us, I have a few cards up my sleeve. Like what? Philip encouraged. She let out a little laugh. Well, that complaint was just the beginning. If it didn't work, I plan to call some of your most important clients and tell them sad stories about how you mistreat your poor mother. I gasped. Larry clenched his fork tightly. Philip simply nodded calmly. Interesting strategy. So that story about you being about to lose your house was just theater to get money from me? She shrugged. Not entirely. I really do need a place to live. But maybe I exaggerated the drama a bit. She laughed. You should have seen your father's face when I cried at your house. He was ready to write me a check right then and there. So you admit you were manipulating us? Philip asked, still in a light tone. Oh, come on, that's not manipulation. It's knowing where to push. She winked. You're my son. You should want to help me. Even after you abandoned me and rejected me when I tried to get close to you as a child? Her face hardened slightly. That was different. I wasn't ready to be a mother back then. And now you are, when you need money? She rolled her eyes. Drop the drama. That's how family is. One helps the other. By lying and filing false reports, Philip added. She leaned back in her chair. I did what I had to do, and I'd do it again if necessary. That's who I am. Philip smiled, slipped a hand into his pocket, pulled out his phone and tapped the screen a couple of times. Thanks for clearing that up, Mildred. I just wanted to be sure I understood exactly where we stand. Her eyes narrowed. What do you mean by that? He turned the phone toward her. It was a recording app. He had recorded everything. Her face drained of color. You recorded me? Yes, every word, including the part where you admit you lied about being about to lose your house, that you filed a false report, and that you planned to invent more lies for my clients if you didn't get what you wanted. You can't do that. That's illegal, she muttered nervously. Actually, in this state, only one party has to consent to the recording, and that party was me. He slipped the phone back into his pocket. I think we're done here. She looked around, desperate. You wouldn't use that against me. I'm your mother. No, Philip said firmly. Margaret is my mother. Larry is my father. You're just the person who brought me into the world and then decided I wasn't worth the effort until the day you needed something from me. He stood up, pulled out some bills, and placed them on the table. Dinner's on me. Enjoy it if you want. We're leaving. As we walked out, I heard Mildred's voice calling after us, now desperate. Philip, wait. Forgive me. We can fix this. But Philip didn't look back. None of us did. In the parking lot, I hugged my son tightly. I'm so proud of you, I whispered. Thanks, Mom, he said. But it's not over yet. What do you mean? Larry asked. Philip checked his watch. Right now. Amber should have already posted the full audio on my social media, along with an explanation of everything that's happened. I took out my phone, and there it was. A post from Philip's company's official account, with the recording, and a simple, direct, honest explanation of everything that had occurred over the past few weeks. You planned all of this? I asked, impressed. He nodded. I knew she wouldn't resist the temptation to brag if she thought she was winning. People like Mildred always want to be recognized for how clever they are. We drove home in silence, each lost in our thoughts. I reflected on how Philip had handled everything with dignity, intelligence, and cold-blooded calm. He outplayed her at every step without sinking to her level. The consequences were swift and harsh. The next morning, Mildred's social media was flooded with negative comments. People who had once felt sorry for her were now outraged by the lies and manipulation. The few friends she had left distanced themselves. For a moment, I even felt sorry for her. Almost. The final confrontation happened 3 days after the dinner. Mildred showed up at Philip's company again, but this time she wasn't yelling. She looked defeated, worn down. I was there helping with some paperwork when she walked in. Philip saw her and sighed. What is it now, Mildred? He asked, exhausted. You ruined my life, she said in a whisper. My friends won't talk to me anymore. I can't find a job because that recording is everywhere. Now it's serious. I really am going to lose my home. Philip looked at her for a few seconds. That's not my problem. He finally replied. She stepped forward, her face twisted with rage. How can you be so cold? I gave you life, and then you threw me in the trash. He answered calmly. You made your choices, Mildred. Now you're facing the consequences. She suddenly lunged, raising her hand as if to slap him. I jumped to my feet, but Philip caught her wrist in midair. No, he said firmly. Don't even try. In that instant, all the strength left her body. She collapsed, crying, truly crying this time. What do I do now? She whispered. For a moment, I saw a flicker of compassion in Philip's eyes. Despite everything, a part of him still cared about the woman who brought him into the world. Get help, he said gently. Real help to deal with whatever makes you treat people this way. And maybe someday we can try to have some kind of relationship, but not like this. Never like this. He released her wrist and took a step back. I'm not giving you money. I'm not going to let you manipulate me or my parents. This ends here. She looked at him for a few seconds, then turned around and left without saying another word. When the door closed, Philip let out a long sigh. I stepped closer and put my arm around his shoulders. Are you okay? I asked. He nodded slowly. I'm okay. I think now I really am. I didn't see Mildred again for almost 2 weeks. I started to think she had finally gotten the message. But one morning I opened my email and felt my stomach drop. It was from Mildred, sent to me, Larry, and Philip. The subject line simply said, "Goodbye." I opened it with trembling hands. It was short, just a few lines saying she couldn't take the public humiliation anymore and that she was going to end everything. Classic Mildred, always dramatic. But what if this time it was real? I called Philip immediately. Did you see the email? I asked as soon as he answered. Yes, he sighed. But don't worry, Mom. She wasn't going to hurt herself. How could he be so sure? I was already grabbing my keys, ready to drive to her last known address. Because I just got a notification, he continued. She posted on Instagram 10 minutes ago. A selfie at a cafe with the caption, "New Beginnings." I sank into a chair, relief washing over me completely. So it was just another attempt at manipulation. Exactly. She was counting on us panicking and going to look for her. Maybe even offering her money to help her rebuild her life after so much darkness. And I had to admit it. Philip knew her very well. What do we do? I asked. Nothing, he replied firmly. Absolutely nothing. And that's exactly what we did. None of us replied to the email. Philip blocked her on all social media and changed his phone number. Larry and I did the same. It was a hard decision, but a necessary one. Like cutting out a cancer before it spreads. Life slowly began to return to normal. Philip's company recovered from the brief reputation crisis. In fact, all the turmoil ended up attracting new clients, impressed by the mature way he handled the situation. Who would have thought? People love a good comeback story. About a month after that dramatic farewell email, I was at the supermarket when my cart bumped into someone else's. I looked up to apologize and found myself face to face with Richard, Mildred's ex-husband. Margaret, he said, surprised. Is that you? I hadn't seen Richard in years, not since before the divorce. He was older, of course, but he looked good. Healthy. Calm. Richard, hi, I said, not quite sure what the proper etiquette was when running into the ex-husband of your problematic daughter. He saved me from the awkward moment. I heard about what happened with Mildred and Philip. I'm very sorry. I shrugged. It wasn't your fault. Maybe not. He hesitated. But I think I should have warned you. When she started talking about reconnecting with Philip, I already knew she was up to something. She had maxed out all her cards and was looking for a new source of money. So she really was broke? I asked. He nodded firmly. But not because I cut her off, like she says. The divorce settlement was more than fair. She just spends money like water. We ended up having coffee together after finishing our shopping. He told me things I had no idea about. That Mildred had cheated on him several times, that she drained their joint account before filing for divorce, and that she tried to turn friends against him with lies about abuse. It's like she can't help herself, he said, stirring his coffee thoughtfully. She sees people as tools, things to use, not as human beings. I remembered all the times I had covered for her behavior when she was a teenager. The money that disappeared from my purse that I pretended I had lost. The lies about where she was going that I chose to believe, because the truth hurt more. The manipulations with Larry that I allowed. I fed that behavior, I confessed, for years. Richard placed his hand over mine. We all did, in one way or another. But Philip, that boy has character. I smiled through tears. Yes, he really does. When I got home, I told Larry everything. Richard said Mildred had moved to Arizona and started over with a new group of people who knew nothing about her past. Larry just sighed, his eyes tired. All of it had aged him. He had taken the deepest emotional blow, especially after almost falling for her manipulation that day at our house. I hope she stays there. But of course, that wasn't the end. With Mildred, it never is. 3 months later, Philip and Amber got engaged. They decided to have a small party at their house to celebrate. Just family and close friends, about 20 people at most. I was in the kitchen helping Amber organize the food when the doorbell rang. I heard Philip answer, and then silence. Too long a silence. I peeked through the doorway and felt my stomach drop. Mildred was standing at the entrance with a gift bag in her hand and a smile as if she had been invited. Surprise? She said, trying to step inside, pushing past Philip. I heard my baby boy is getting married. Philip blocked her way. How did you find out about this? How do you know where I live? She waved it off casually. Oh, I have my ways. Aren't you going to invite your mother in? I brought champagne. I stepped forward to support my son, but he gave me a look that said, let me handle this. Mildred, he said calmly, you're not invited. Her smile faltered. But I'm your mother. Of course I should be at my son's engagement party. You're not invited, he repeated. And you're not welcome here. Her face darkened. Is this about that little misunderstanding? I thought we'd gotten past that. It wasn't a misunderstanding. You tried to extort me, filed a false report, and threatened to ruin my company. And then you sent an email pretending you were going to kill yourself just because you didn't get what you wanted. She even had the nerve to look offended. I was going through a hard time. You could have shown a little compassion. By then, some guests had noticed the scene. Amber stepped up behind Philip, looking worried. What's going on? Nothing, Philip replied without taking his eyes off Mildred. She's leaving. Mildred's gaze shifted to Amber and I saw something ugly flash in her eyes. So you're the one stealing my son from me? Amber blinked, confused. What? He was going to help me until you turned him against me, Mildred snarled. You think you're so perfect with that sweet little face. Enough, Philip cut in firmly. You need to leave now or I'll call the police. Mildred looked around and for the first time seemed to realize she was being watched and judged. She understood she was losing. Fine, she snapped, shoving the gift bag into Philip's chest. I just wanted to give you this, to show I don't hold a grudge. Philip took the bag cautiously, glanced inside, and closed it immediately. His face went pale. Leave, he said, his voice slightly trembling. And don't ever try to contact me or my family again. She smiled, thinking she had won something. Have a lovely party. When she left, I rushed to Philip. What was in the bag? He handed it to me in silence. I looked inside and felt nauseous. It was a baby onesie with the phrase "Grandma's favorite" and a note. When you have children, I will be part of their lives, whether you want it or not. The mood of the party was ruined. Philip tried to keep it together, but he was shaken. Later, when we were alone, we sat down to decide what to do. We could ask for a restraining order, Larry suggested. On what grounds? Philip asked. Technically, she hasn't made a direct threat. That gift felt pretty threatening to me, Amber murmured. We're not going to let her anywhere near your future children. I promised. I thought this was over, Philip said. People like Mildred don't change. They just change strategies. The next day, Philip installed security cameras. Weeks passed with no word from her. Until one night, I received a call from an unknown number. Against all my better judgment, I answered. Hello? Margaret? A female voice asked. Yes, who is this? My name is Janice. I'm Richard's current partner, Richard, Mildred's ex-husband. I immediately went on alert. How did you get my number? Richard gave it to me. He thought you needed to know. Mildred was arrested. I sat down in the nearest chair, feeling my legs give way. Arrested? Why? Credit card fraud. She stole Richard's card information and spent thousands. But that's not the only reason I'm calling. She paused. She had a notebook. The police found it when they searched her apartment. It was full of notes, plans to get money from Philip, information about his company, your home address, even Amber's work schedule. It was terrifying. My blood ran cold. Did you tell the police about her history with Philip? Richard is talking to them right now. They're taking it very seriously. With the fraud and these signs of stalking, they're seeking a prison sentence. I thanked her for the information and called Philip immediately. He and Amber came rushing over. We told them everything Janice had revealed. So, she was watching us? Amber asked in a low voice. All this time? Philip wrapped an arm around her shoulders. Everything's going to be okay. She can't do anything now. Later, we discovered that Mildred had been planning to approach Amber when she was alone, trying to convince her to pressure Philip into helping the poor mother. She even wrote about using future grandchildren as leverage. It was cold, calculated, and it gave me chills. Mildred was sentenced to 18 months in prison for fraud. The evidence of stalking helped strengthen the sentence, even though she couldn't be charged separately for it without clear proof of intent to cause harm. On the day of the sentencing, Philip, Larry, and I were sitting in the courtroom. She didn't look at us even once. She didn't acknowledge our presence at all, as if we were complete strangers. When they took her away, I felt a whirlwind of emotion. Sadness for the daughter who had wasted so much time, relief knowing she could no longer hurt us, at least for a while, and deep gratitude toward my son, who had the courage to protect his own family. The wedding took place in the spring, just as planned. It was beautiful. Amber was radiant, and Philip couldn't stop smiling. They chose an intimate garden ceremony, with only close family and friends. During the reception, Philip pulled me aside. I have something for you, he said, handing me a small box. Inside was a delicate silver bracelet with a single heart-shaped charm. Why this? I asked, already fighting back tears. For being my real mother, he replied simply. For loving me when she couldn't or wouldn't. I hugged him tightly, unable to say anything because of the lump in my throat. Later, while Larry and I were slow dancing, I saw Philip and Amber on the other side of the dance floor. They were laughing about something, heads close together, completely devoted to each other and to the future they were building. We raised him well, Larry murmured in my ear. I nodded, resting my head on his shoulder. Yes, we did. Mildred was released after serving 14 months. She never tried to make contact again. According to Richard, who heard it from a mutual acquaintance, she moved to Florida and started over. Sometimes I wonder if she thinks about what she lost. Not the money she tried to take, but the relationship with her own son. The chance to know the incredible man he became, to be present at the wedding, at the building of a new family. But most of the time, I just feel grateful. Grateful that Philip had the strength to break the cycle. Grateful that he chose to protect, not to enable. Grateful that, despite everything, he is still a man capable of loving and trusting. 2 years after the wedding, Amber gave birth to twins, a boy and a girl. Philip called us from the hospital, his voice breaking. "They're perfect, Mom. Absolutely perfect." When we arrived, he placed the baby girl in my arms. "Meet your granddaughter, Margaret," he said softly. I looked at that serene little face, sleeping peacefully, and felt my heart fill completely. That was family, not guilt, not blackmail, not obligation, just love, true love, given from the heart and received with gratitude. And as for Mildred, well, she made her choices, and we made ours.
If this story touched you in any way, don't go just yet. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and comment below what you thought or which part impacted you the most. That helps the channel a lot to keep bringing stories like this. Thank you for staying until the end, and I'll see you in the next video.